So many of the artworks and personalities that we call genial or a genius, they have some very important in common that it's common overlooked. Many of them, they have a will, or they are prepared to be bold and risky and weird if the artwork asked them to be so. If the life lived for the artwork asked them to be so. This is a very uncomfortable truth about talent and geniality. Many people, they get distracted in the relationship, in this dilemma between geniality and craftsmanship, or between different concepts of geniality. But actually, what is important is to ask yourself, if you have a lot of talent, are you prepared to do what it takes to be a genius from the point of view of taking risks, of being bold, of being ridiculous sometimes? The question, if you are prepared to even be ridiculous, if it needed so to be, in order to exercise and fulfill your talent. This is the question. This explains why we don't see many genius today. It's one of the answers. It's not that these people don't exist, or people with amazing talent. What happens out there is that we have an environment that challenges way more your personality regarding these aspects of being talented and being genius. We have a society that makes clear when you are out of the norm. If you think that we have a free punk rock society, this is totally wrong. If you consider someone with tattoo and piercing someone rebel, this is wrong. It was true maybe for 30 years ago, but today it's not necessary true. It's very likely that these people is just following the new norm. So a key component of the genial personality is to be prepared to do everything that it takes to accomplish an aesthetic goal as an artist, or an intellectual goal as a philosopher or scientist, and so on. This is one of the most important insights that I have about this topic, and I came to this conclusion alone because I thought a lot about the concept of courage and cowardice in philosophy and in music. Nevertheless, I saw a very important academic who also came to a similar conclusion. I saw him talking. He said something very interesting, that it is part of what it takes to be a genius to be able to do whatever you need to do in order to accomplish your mission in relation to your talent and to your goal. Okay, so these things they are important for regardless the concept of genius that you have. These things that we are talking here, they stay untouched. Okay. It is very important for the concept of geniality, in my opinion, the relation between talent and offering value to mankind. And when people speak about geniality, many times they don't understand even the concepts of geniality. They don't understand exactly what Schelling or Hegel or Nietzsche or in principle Schopenhauer spoke about this. But they also don't understand other nuance and aspects in which we can conceive this idea of a genius that came before Hegel, and this they are very rooted in very old traditions. The word gene, this root gene, is one of the most important roots that we can think of, and it came from the Indo-German language. So this very original idiom before Greek and Latin, and it's one of the most important words that we have. Okay, so it has to do with genesis, with generation, with creation. So you just don't mess with this root. Okay, so the concept of genius is absolutely important, regardless of the challenge that it sets. Okay, because of already because of this reason, because of this very important root in this word. Okay, this radical gene. It is the same as also gender or gender. Okay, so you don't just mess with these words. Today we live in we suffer the consequence of messing with this concept of geniality as well. Okay, I think we didn't understand well exactly the concept of geniality, and also the concept of talent, and these relationships. I think we don't get them so well. So when you observe this moral aspect of geniality from the point of view of the personality that you build around the artwork, then you understand that in some perspective it makes sense to speak about geniality, in the sense that you make yourself better and more genial with the effort of your willpower towards the beautiful, the good, and the truth. Because actually the personalities that we call a genius with a good reason, like Aristotle or Da Vinci, they related the whole life to these three key aspects. Okay, you had Da Vinci here. This was my plan for the video of today. Now I'm doing like this. Da Vinci was absolutely bold. He followed these three values to the point that he was clearly a person who could do everything to achieve this goal. And the geniality here consists also in this constant self-development of the personality towards being better. You have the component of talent by birth, but what matters here in my discussion is to ask yourself, even if you got the best talent and all the skills of a genius, the artistical skills, would you have the personality and moral skills to do whatever it takes to achieve what it has to be achieved? I don't even say what you want, but I say what it has to be achieved. Would you do this? For example, Leonardo da Vinci. This man could kill a dog, open the dog, and investigate everything that is going there just to find maybe a mathematic relationship, a proportion, and relate these proportions or these structures, relate them analogically to the artwork that he was doing in painting. He was a person that was able to go through this if needed. I can say if he did this, but he was this type of person. And if it failed, it is okay. And here's the very important aspect of what I'm talking about. So if you have all the skills, are you willing to do what it takes to experiment, to be ridiculous or to fail? Okay. How important is the social status close to your relationship to the artistical goal? This is the crucial question of geniality. And people don't want to ask these questions. It is easy to ask the questions of craftsmanship or cultural businessmanship. I don't know. Okay. I just learned to relate three chords with each other from the point of view of the client and of the market. That's all. A little bit another category of doing things. So many composers out there, I think they are really genius. They are potentially amazing, but in my opinion, and as I am seeing things, they are in a society that challenges the power to take aesthetic, moral, and philosophical risks. Also, not only the society is a cause or the culture, but somehow they accept this weakness, okay? And from there, it starts to be a kind of a reciprocal relationship. Because being more talented and more genial and more creative, because you go beyond and beyond things, then it starts also being harder. It might be harder to achieve goals that are set by your other personality, so to say, the personality that doesn't want the geniality. doesn't want the unconditional will for creation as a service and high level communication for mankind. Okay, so there is another part of your personality that is more like here and now only, and then challenges your other part, asking for what? So what? Does the juice is the juice worth the squeeze? Okay, this is what happened. So very important conclusion here is a question. Let's say you achieved the skills that you are wanting to achieve, and some skills you developed them. Or let's say you are super talented and you can do amazing things, but after you reach this level of being able to do something, you ask yourself, is your personality prepared to do what it takes to do in order to accomplish and exercise or live accordingly to the geniality that you developed in yourself, that you opened and that you allow it to flow in yourself? Do you get the point? So it's not a question of skill here anymore. It's a question of moral virtue, the moral skill. Okay. And the most important footnote that I could give to all this reflection here is that I'm not saying that you have to search for the bold thing, for the eccentric thing, that you don't have to search for the strange or the radically new thing. You have to observe very well what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the genius as a type of personality that is prepared to do whatever it takes to achieve the artistical goal for mankind's purpose. And if it is needed to go through a failure in some aspect of life that is not important for the artwork, if it is needed to take a risk here or there to reach goals related to the artistical or intellectual work, he will do it. And the people that we call genius, they did this. Okay. So it's a very important footnote, because of course, in order to accomplish your artistical goals, your let's say your goals from the point of view of artistical talent or geniality, of course, you have to take care about many aspects of things in order to succeed. This is absolutely true. But the paradox and the nuance that is key to understand is that everything that we call it genial had like a seed in itself of courage. Okay, it had in itself a seed of courage, intellectual courage, artistical courage, or moral courage. This is the very important thing, and because of this courage, These people, these artworks that we call genial or these genius, they are not only successful, but they are valuable for mankind. This is the difference. They are not only successful for themselves, because who cares about your success? Only you. What I care is if your success is valuable for me. And if it is valuable for more people, better. It is valuable for another time, even better. If it is valuable for the past or the future. Do you understand what I mean? So this is what defines the geniality, if I am allowed here to sketch a concept of geniality. So the most important thing is the question of this question. So after I got some skill, or if I had all the skills that I wish, how much is my personality prepared to achieve these goals? This is the question. How much is your personality prepared to achieve the goals that are proportional to this type of skills that you want to achieve? Okay. If you only want the skill and you don't want to do nothing with your skill or do less, it is your problem. But I don't find this so interesting. Okay, so the whole point of this discussion is that everyone, to some extent, or many composers, many artists, they wish to compose like a Mozart, a Richard Strauss, or if your standards are lower, like Hans Zimmer. Okay, they wish. Okay, but let's say you can compose like Mozart or Richard Strauss. You have the skills. Are you able to go through the risks and boldness that creativity asks out of you? This is the question, okay, that you have to ask yourself, and this will have a deep impact in how you go through things from start to finish, as a baby composer or as an old composer. Okay, how much are you able to face some risks or even some ridiculous? Okay, is your social position first, or the aesthetical, artistical goal in relation to mankind first? And how you follow the second purpose, still obeying the rules of being successful, because if you are not successful, you won't be a good service for mankind anyway. So this is also a conditional of geniality. The true geniuses, they made the conditions to be successful. Okay, but the point is that they are not only successful for them for themselves. They are not only in a good position. And many of the geniuses, they are also not so they were not so famous as they were alive. And this is the point. What matters if you do the thing, if you do the work, the oeuvre, the magnum opus or not. This is what matters. If it is asked out of you to sacrifice your present social position in order to accomplish your goal, your goal that is a goal of a genius and imposed by genial talent flowing through you, would you be able to sacrifice these things in order to live these artworks or these products, these intellectual products for posterity? Let's say you can write wonderful poetry, but actually the people in your contemporaneity, they can't understand so well your poetry, but you know mathematically that your poetry is result of a lot of work and a lot of talent and a lot of insight and a lot of passion, and for mankind, not for you, your coolness on Instagram. If this is the case, would you be prepared to sacrifice the present moment to leave your book of poetry for the people who are coming after you? If the answer is yes, then exactly in this moment, the quality of your artwork will multiply by 1,000. There is no competition with you. There is absolutely no competition. Because you are playing the game of the eternity, while other people are playing the game of the here and now. In my street, in my algorithm, and my friends. Do you understand the difference? So, if you get this concept right, you have an easier time learning so many things in philosophy or music or whatever you are learning. Okay? Because always when it comes a challenge, now for you, studying orchestration or counterpoint, or a challenge studying logic or mathematics, or studying a language like German or English or important language, or Italiano or Latin, why not? You see this challenge as a flower, as an eating of pleasure. Do you understand? Because your goal, your scheme of values is way higher and way deeper, and it is de facto connected with the deepest reality that we as human beings experienced. And this is the reality as shown by these people that we call genius. Aristotle, Da Vinci, Leibniz, Bach. Okay? Tesla. All these guys, they gave zero fucks to secondary things. This doesn't mean that they did not give also attention to conditions of success and of here and now reality, like Aristotle or other composers. But the priority was absolutely in another category. And if they needed to be unsuccessful from the point of view of the here and now, this means unsuccessful in the world, as the Bible likes to say, in the world, they would do this. And this is what you see with Schubert or Mozart to some aspect of his life, and Beethoven. Bartók later, when he got poor, I don't know, so many examples. So Fernando Pessoa, the poet, you see this in many different scales. Okay, so it's not that you search only the boldness, only the conflict, only the strange and new things as such. This is only the idiots of the avant-garde. They do like this. So they go totally strange, totally weird, totally asocial, like this were the absolute value. Okay, so totally poor, totally dependent on the state, on the Marxist state, totally weird communication, totally weird artwork, absolutely hard to understand, but also low effort artworks. I'm not speaking about this. I'm speaking about if you are able to look like this and apparently be perceived like this, while you are actually not, while you set your artistic life in absolute higher standards. And these standards, they are based on this core belief that you can develop your talent to an absolute another level. And principally that you can't live your life otherwise than developing this talent toward this mission. And you have in your heart this conviction that the mission in which you go is not for yourself only, is not a life mission. It's really the awareness of the talents that you have and the passion that you have and the will to overcome challenges that you have is so strong that you believe that this is de facto a value for the people around you, and you work as you can for this, regardless if these people perceive it or not, because the eternity or history, so to say, might perceive it. If it is the whole history, so many people or not, this depends on the quality of what you do in other aspects. But certainly it will make difference in the street in which you live. So this is the reflection that I had. Please give a like, subscribe. If you didn't like nothing, I mean nothing of this, so I invite you to unsubscribe, and ciao. Seek your happiness in another dimension of YouTube. And I would be happy if you really leave a like or subscribe, principally because this is the second video that I did today. The first one was way better, shorter and way better than this one, but I lost the audio because there was not a good contact, because the cable of the microphone and the microphone is so stupid that it drives me absolutely crazy. And I always do backup, but today I was so inspired to start talking about this that I lost this technical aspect. So thanks for the consideration and thanks for the audience. So ciao.